Good afternoon. So today we're going to do some tongue twister practice. Tongue twisters are the best way to practice your articulation. What does it mean to be articulate? Articulation in speech is different from articulation in thought. Articulation in speech requires you to use your letter sounds, your phonemes, the way they should be used. So consonants require crispness and accuracy, and vowels require fullness. So if I were to use the letter sound L, the letter L, if I were to sound it out, I would need to let it linger in my mouth for a little while. For example, I just said linger, rather than cut it short and say linger. Let it linger in your mouth. Let it linger in your mouth. If I want to produce the correct R sound for the letter R, I would have to decide on whether there's a vowel coming after it or a consonant. If a vowel came after it, I would need to roll my R. So I would need to rrr. I would need to say after it. If a consonant came after it, I would have to say market, norm, form. Articulation requires you to use your organ of speech, which is your mouth, and use it correctly. So the best way to practice articulation is through tongue twisters. Now, the problem with tongue twisters is that a lot of people teach you how to speak tongue twisters, and they teach you all wrong. They tell you to do word for word. So you break it up and say, she sells seashells. Well, that's completely the wrong way to learn tongue twisters. You first have to understand the tongue twister. Then you need to break it. You need to chunk it into chunks of meaning. And then articulate the phrases, articulate those chunks beautifully as you can. Once you've mastered that, then you build speed. So for example, the classic one that children all over the world learn is Betty bought a bit of butter, but the butter was bitter. So Betty bought another bit of butter to make the bitter butter better. Please note that I said make because there's a k at the end. And if you don't say the k, you've killed the word. So let's look at how we can go faster with that. Betty bought a bit of butter, but the butter was bitter. So Betty bought another bit of butter to make the bitter butter better. Betty bought a bit of butter, but the butter was bitter. So Betty bought another bit of butter to make the bitter butter better. So I still pause, I still phrase, and I still articulate, even if I'm going fast. All right, let's do another one. She sells. Who sells? She does. She sells. What does she sell? Seashells. Where does she sell them? On the seashore. Oh, all right. So what about the seashells? The seashells she sells are seashells, I'm sure. All right? So there's meaning in tongue twisters. You've got to teach children to find the meaning. When you look at a tongue twister, when you look at anything, there shouldn't be a single-pronged approach towards it. You should look to see how many things can you do with that one exercise. So doing articulation exercises can also be a comprehension exercise, right? So you use the question words, who, where, when, what, why, and how. So let's do that quicker. She sells seashells on the seashore. The seashells she sells are seashells, I'm sure. Okay, so there's meaning, there's drama, there's intonation, there's so much you can do, right? All right, the next one. Okay, amidst the mists and coldest frosts, with stoutest wrists and loudest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the posts and still insists he sees the ghosts. Let's do that quicker. Amidst the mists and coldest frosts, with stoutest wrists and loudest boasts, he thrusts his fists against the posts and still insists he sees the ghosts. All right, that's a tough one, but it's a beautiful one to practice the sts and the st end words, the end sounds. All right, let's do another one. Success seeds success. Success does what? It seeds, it births success. Isn't that interesting? Success seeds success. So there are lots of S sounds that have to be articulated. So what I teach my children to do is, when you see repeated consonants, that means when you see two S's, one ending a word, one beginning a word. When you see two D's, one ending a word, one beginning a word. When you see two M's, one ending a word, one beginning a word. What you need to do is you need to speak the first word, drop that last sound, and pick up the same consonant in the next word. So for example, success, I've dropped the S, now I pick up the S for the seeds. Success seeds success. So there's a slight pause in between all three. When I say read Daniel, if I say read Daniel, I'm doing Daniel. Read Daniel, read, drop it, read Daniel, right? So you drop it and you pick it up. All right, another one. Crisp crusts, crackle and crunch. Crisp crusts, crackle and crunch. Crisp crusts, crackle and crunch. Never lose the meaning. Always retain the meaning. Otherwise, if you do Betty bought a bit of butter and the butter was bit of Betty blah, 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 means nothing. It's rubbish. To be articulate and to speak fluently and to speak quickly, it doesn't mean you lose meaning. Meaning must be retained. All right? The next one. It's so hard to say. It's so hard to say. It's so hard to say. So intonate, put meaning when you're saying tongue twisters. Otherwise, if you say, it's so hard to say, no, rubbish. Okay. Could Daisy enact the second act? Could Daisy enact the second act? Now that's asking a question. So I need to put a circumflex into my voice. I need to intonate my voice to show that I'm asking a question. And it's got to go up at the end, right? So could, start high. Could Daisy enact the second act? I'm asking a question. Could Daisy enact the second act? Again, I'm asking a question. Her personality is sparkling. Is sparkling. I've done a video on S and Z end sounds. Please do watch it. It's very, very important. And it's a powerful video. All right. Do I have any other tongue twisters to say? Yep, I've got one here. Bill's feet feel beat. Wow, that's cool. Bill's feet feel beat. Bill's feet feel beat. Dean's meals means deals. Wow. Dean's meals means deals. Rubber baby, buggy bumper. Rubber baby, buggy bumper. I don't even know what that means, but it's to practice the R sound. All right. Quick throats, thick coats. The TH sound, I've done a video on that as well. The TH sound says throats, thick. So quick throats, thick quotes. All right. Great grey gaping grape grates. Great grey gaping grape grates. Actually, there's no meaning in that one. All right. Silly sheep still asleep. Silly sheep still asleep. Silly sheep still asleep. Say it faster and faster and faster. And that's how you do tongue twisters. I hope you enjoyed this. If you found it valuable, if you found it useful, do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.